Speaker, I rise today to speak about the Kernewek Lowender Copper Coast Cornish Festival, the largest event staged in the Narungga electorate, which has attracted in the vicinity of 45,000 people every 2 years for the last 40+ years. Note, Mr Deputy Speaker, my grandfather was on the inaugural committee that set up this wonderful festival. It's currently underway this week, Mr Speaker, in the towns of Kernewek, Wallaroo, Moonta, and runs from the 13th to the 19th of May. I would encourage everyone to come and visit the wonderful Cornish Festival and advise them that if they are planning to head out to the Copper Coast this weekend, that there are plenty of election booths to vote at and an early voting centre in Kadina, which will remain open till Saturday night, catering for the expected influx of tourists from interstate who haven't already voted at pre-poll. So it doesn't matter what your postcode is, you can vote in the Copper Coast, so don't let that federal election stop you from travelling up to Kernewek, Wallaroo and Moonta to vote this week, to visit the Cornish Festival this weekend. The program, Mr Deputy Speaker, is packed with entertainment, Cornish food and all the traditions the festival is famous for, like the maypole and furry dancing, the Moonta Street Parade, the Cornish Pasty Bake-Off, and I was talking to the Minister for Trade, Tourism and Investment earlier this week, who recalled with some jocularity about his failed effort at a pasty recently, at the last iteration of this festival, the classic cavalcade of cars and motorcycles, concerts and Cornish ceremonies, markets, feasts and exhibitions, tourist railway, cemetery walks, miners' cottage, open houses and gardens, the dressing of the graves events and the bard ceremony conducted entirely in the Cornish language. I'm advised, Mr Deputy Speaker, new to the week's program this year is a Wallaroo Street Party featuring swanky beer and live entertainment and a Nos Lauan music event, which means anchors away. So I wish all well for a successful event which can reward the efforts of the hundreds of volunteers it takes to stage such a huge event, as well as all the local businesses who participate, resulting in many working diligently in Cornish costume, which adds so much to the flavour of the week. It really is a wonderful event that has been the flagship tourism event for the region for decades and renowned internationally due to the authenticity of the activities on offer and due to the efforts of the hard-working volunteers and on the organising committee, hard-working community groups who help stage all the events, and supportive local businesses and loyal sponsors. Major partners this year, Mr Deputy Speaker, are the South Australian Tourism Commission, the Copper Coast Council, and gold sponsors are Newbury Chemists, Apex, Drake Supermarkets, Moonta National Trust, NYP Rotary, RAA, 5CS and Magic FM 105.9. The festival is not possible without this financial support and support of other multiple silver and copper level sponsors. At the risk of singling people out, Mr Deputy Speaker, I move to mention the Kernewek Lowender Organising Committee Chairperson, Lynn Spurling, and Executive Officer Glenys Blacker, who worked tirelessly to make sure this event happens. I'd also like to make mention of the NYP Rotary Club, Wallaroo Traders and Town Development Group, the Moonta Progress Association and local Apex club members who are all kept particularly busy over the weekend. There's some 300 volunteers from the three towns who work together for the common cause, which gives an idea of the size and impact of the Cornish Festival for the local area. The Marshall Liberal government is also proud to be a supporter, providing money from its Tourism Events Grants program to ensure this major state cultural festival is promoted intra and interstate and overseas to the standard that it deserves. I was also pleased to note Moonta Mines Museum as a successful recipient of a South Australian Heritage Grant for wall conservation, and also that the Moonta Mines National Heritage Precinct received $88,000 of Australian Heritage Grant money to develop a conservation management plan for the precinct. I am also pleased to advise the Minister for Trade, Tourism and Investment, the Honourable David Ridgway from the other place, is officiating at the festival's official opening this Friday at Moonta, where I will also be attending and which I look forward to also opening, and where I also look forward to opening the coveted Kernewek Art Prize later that day. Regional tourism is recognised by this government as vital to the state's economy, and it is a topic I've spoken about regularly in this place. Current tourism expenditure on the York Peninsula is $198 million, with the aim to grow that to $302 million by 2020. And we are on track with the latest international visitor survey results showing SA having grown its international visits by 7% and its expenditure by 8%, both outstripping national averages.
The State of the House.
Member for Elizabeth, you've drawn attention to the State of the House with just a few seconds to go and aggrieve, but I note there is not a quorum here. I ask the clerk to ring the bells.